Hey ladies, hope all is well. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. I am 25 weeks and 4 days pregnant as of today. Super crazy. It's flying by. I will not get used to this, and by the time I'm used to it, baby will be out. So it is just flying by. My cold is much better, if you were wondering. So it's not 100% gone, but I feel so much better. I'm not as congested, so that's good. I did take the Robitussin for a time. I stopped taking it because I wanted to try to do as natural as possible, but there were at least a good 3 or 4 days there where I was taking the Robitussin. And it is what it is, right? I tried the new Robitussin Honey, if anyone is interested. It's fine. It seemed to be effective. It has a slight honey flavor, you know. Other than that, it's medicine, tastes like medicine. But I tried to do it natural. Couldn't sleep when I was doing it natural, so I was definitely using it at night, but then I did use it somewhat during the day to get me through if I was at work or something like that. Now I don't really feel like I need it because I'm on the tail end of this, I think. Although this morning, my throat was a little sore, so I was like, oh my God, I hope I don't have like a relapse. I've never had a cold relapse, but I don't know. This is a bizarre world I'm in right now with babies, so we'll see. So I'm still a little congested, so if you can hear that, I apologize, but I just wanted to come in and do my update, or record and do my update, and just talk to you guys. But just, this is like my video musing diary and sharing with the world out there, so I just wanted to chat. So my thoughts today, I've been trying to get this baby registry together. I am not having a baby shower, or at least I don't plan to have a baby shower. So if I do have a baby shower, it's news to me. It will be a surprise because I do not plan to have a baby shower for various reasons. The people that I'm closest with are kind of spread out throughout the country. So, I probably won't have a formal baby shower prior to the baby being born. That does not stop registries, though, because you can still register and people can still send gifts, just like with bridal showers. I did have a bridal shower. I did have a bachelorette party. I had all that stuff. So I also don't feel as pressured to have a baby shower, although the baby shower would be nice, but primarily for things for the baby. Sorry, random here. So I'm trying to put this registry together. I'm trying to work on multiple ones, although they're universal registries that can allow me to put at any store. So I'm working on trying to do 3, even though that might be unnecessary. Amazon, Baby List, and Bye Bye Baby. So I know that the registries tend to give you a discount on items that are still on your registry after a certain date. So that's one reason why I'm trying to do multiple. I know, and I believe all 3 of those lists, I don't know if Bye Bye Baby List does. I haven't actually really started that one yet, but I intend to. But the Baby List registry list, and the Amazon registry list allow you to put from any store on there. Amazon, if you're a Prime member, will allow, after a certain point, you can get, I think, a larger discount. I am a Prime member. Most people, I think, are. But just because I tend to buy so many things off the internet and Amazon. But you can get, I think, like a 15% discount. I don't know if that's after a certain day or if it's just generally if you're buying items from Prime, from Amazon. But I do know that these registries tend to have a certain date. Based off your due date, they'll give you a date that if there are items still left on your list after that date, they'll give you discounts on. So sometimes people use that for higher end items. If you're going for like a $1,500, $100 Bugaboo stroller, like I have my eye on, even though I might not get it because I'm trying to be reasonable and not get caught up in the hype. But I am, I'm reasonable, but I, sometimes want to get caught up in the hype. So I'm trying to work on those registry lists. And as I work on them, Amazon is a little weird because it has a whole bunch of things that you have to finish a checklist, and you might not want everything that's on the checklist. Like it has like play mats and activity center. And for a newborn, those are kind of the same thing. Maybe you're thinking more in the future, baby won't always be a newborn, baby won't, will need more toys, so maybe you want to add those things on now. But to me, a playmat activity center are very similar things. Amazon kind of has them listed separately, so you have to add everything to your check that they have on the checklist to your registry, and then you can get like a $35 free box of baby stuff. And I think a lot of the registries offer you a free welcome box of baby stuff. No idea what's in it. I have not gotten a box, but I'm trying to finish the checklist. So I've been working kind of simultaneously on my baby list registry and my Amazon registry. But I'm going to start. I'm closer, I guess, to finishing my Amazon registry. But anyway, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And to be honest, I think a lot of this baby stuff is gimmick. Yes, there are things that babies need. There are truly things that babies need. Not saying there aren't. But there's a lot of gimmicks out there. There's a lot of things that they sell us on, especially if you're a first-time mom. And me, I tend to get caught up between wanting to have the best for my baby. And sometimes the best, in my mind, might mean the most expensive. I know that's not necessarily the truth. But sometimes it's like, oh, okay, this must be the best one. Sometimes the most expensive thing tends to be nicer. Sometimes it's not, and it's just, again, a gimmick and a marketing ploy. One of the biggest marketing things that I think a lot of new moms get caught up in, and I'm caught up in it, but I try to dial myself back, is nurseries. The reality is newborns don't need nurseries. And I know that, right? I know they don't need nurseries, but I still want one. But I'm trying to not do it. Doesn't mean my baby will never have its own room. Just doesn't need a nursery, and not immediately. And I know it's so easy to get caught up on these videos, and you look, and tons of people on YouTube and other places are doing these beautiful nursery reveals, and they have these beautiful nurseries, and they have all this wonderful stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, my baby, I want my baby to have that. Well, a couple of problems I have with it. One, I don't know gender, so my baby, it's kind of hard to decorate. But that's not the biggest problem. We can figure that out. The biggest problem is gimmick. Newborns shouldn't sleep in a nursery. I mean, it's actually proven that it's safer for your newborn baby to sleep in the room with you. So you can have these nurseries, but your baby shouldn't really be in it. And how much time is it going to spend in this nursery as a newborn? Now, as you get a little older, and you may want to reconsider and have its own room, and play area and all that, but they're not the most pressing things if you don't have it when the baby is born. And you may not even need a nursery for maybe the first year, maybe 6 months to a year, but at least the first year. Babies that sleep in the room with their parents or their parent or whatever, have a lower incidence of SIDS. They tend to get colic less. So it's actually also not just monetary reasons, but there's also health benefits to having your baby closer. You're a new parent, you may want to monitor that baby more. It also helps you get more rest instead of having to go to a nursery to do certain things. So yeah, not to say there's no benefits to a nursery, but newborns don't need a nursery. First of all, I don't know if people know this, newborns can't see color, not immediately. They only see black and white. So all those beautiful colors on the wall, and the sunflowers and the roses and all the beautiful nurseries that I'm seeing, absolutely gorgeous online, baby will not appreciate that for a very long time. Even when it can see color, they don't know what any of this is, right? So it's really for you. And that's fine if you're doing it for you. That is fine, because I think that's a valid reason to do it as well. But realize you're doing it for you, because the baby doesn't need a lot of that stuff. Just like tons and tons of baby clothes, you can overbuy on that, because babies grow very quickly. They're not going to be a newborn forever. So if you're buying a lot of newborn clothes, so I've been doing a lot of research on it and reading. Doesn't mean I have the answer, because again, this is my first time, so I'm muddling through. So it is easy for me to go online and to see these videos and to think, oh my God, I want my baby to have that nursery is just gorgeous, or and they are everyone, beautiful nurseries out there. they're just not necessary. So if you can't afford it, or if you don't have the room for it, or if you're like me, you're just like trying to balance between the hype and what's real, that's really what I'm trying to be. I hate spending money unnecessarily, so I'm definitely not trying to do that if I don't have to. I do have the room, so that's kind of the messed up part, but I don't want to just get caught up in marketing and spend thousands of dollars on things that aren't necessary. Now, with that said, we do plan to redo our bedroom, a portion of our bedroom for the baby. We will be doing that. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Yeah. So we will be doing a portion of our bedroom for the baby. And it's really just going to be a wall, one side or a quarter of our bedroom that we're going to dedicate to baby stuff. And that may be a pack and play and some other things. I don't plan to get a crib immediately, although I'm kind of back and forth on when I will get a crib. I do plan to get a crib, but I think we'll start with a pack and play that has a bassinet feature immediately. Or you can just start with a bassinet or something, or one of those sleepers that you can pull closer to your bed. You have to be careful with those things, though, because there was recently a recall on a Fisher-Price sleeper. I think there was a recall, but it was really because, you know, after those babies can only sleep in those things for so long. So they are very short-term purchases. So if you're buying that, you may only get 3 months out of it. And it doesn't matter if baby still fits. If baby can roll or baby can sit up, they're not supposed to be sleeping in them at that point because they can suffocate or something like that. You should really look into it before buying those. But, you know, so some of these are very short-term purchases. And if they make it easier for you for your life to have your baby right next to your bed, and it sounds like that would be convenient, you know, go for it. But be careful with the fact that they're limited purchases, and your baby, after a very short period of time, may need to move to something else. So yeah, so I mean, these are just my thoughts. I do know that a lot of this is marketing, and there's a lot of marketing. It's so easy to get caught up on if you're a new mom, or first-time mom, I should say, like myself. You know, everything's pretty. Everything is nice. You know, I was looking at a baby monitoring system last night, and it was $300. And my husband's like, why do you always go for the most expensive thing? There has to be cheaper baby monitoring systems. And I'm like, why do you always want to go for the cheaper thing? So we are definitely at odds when it comes to that. So he's like, no, it's not the cheaper thing, but we have to be able to meet in the middle and not spend money unnecessarily. So, I mean, I get that, but sometimes I like what I like. And when I get into that, I like what I like and I want what I want, sometimes I just get what I want. Now, I am willing to dial back the $300 baby monitoring system because it may not be necessary. And I am looking for something that'll hook up with my Amazon Alexa items that I already have in the house. So I would like something that integrates with that. But it's just funny because it's so easy to get caught up on these things. Everything's so expensive. And, you know, some things are really good, but you have to do the research and try to determine what's good and what's just marketing and hype. So, yeah, so it's really trying to figure that out. So immediately when this baby comes into the world, no, it will not have a nursery. It will, and hopefully it will be done by that point, have its own section of our bedroom. And maybe in 6 months to, 6 to 9 months from now, I might start looking into designing or putting together something that's more fit for the baby to move it into its own room around that point. But I think, you could keep your baby in your room for, quite a bit of time, at least a year, maybe even 2 years. I know some people do it up to 2 years. You may not be comfortable with 2 years, but I'm just saying some people do it. And it really depends on what, the room you have, the space that you have, because in this New York area, people don't always have a ton of space, and it is not abnormal for parents to share their bedroom with their child for several years. They do that because, space is limited. So when they have a second child, I think that's when they may decide they need to either move or find a way to handle that. But it is so not, out of the norm to to hear that people are in their child live, the couple and their child live in a 1-bedroom apartment here in New York City. It's just, you know, space is limited. I fortunately have 3 bedrooms, and we only utilize one as an actual bedroom. But because of the need to have the baby with us, I want to, you know, I'm not trying to focus on a nursery so early. And that's my, you know, that's my decision, and based on research and things. But you know, we will do a room at some point. And I really, you know, because I can get caught up. I say this now, and then I'll go on Pinterest, or I'll go on YouTube, or I'll look at nurse registry stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cute, this is so cute, and then I'm caught up in it. And so that happens. Like, I go back and forth on it. The rational side of me is like, and the rational side speaking right now, it's like, you don't need that. I just want it, and it's cute, and I think I want my baby to have it side, which can take over at any moment. We'll see something and say, oh my God, that's, we need to, you know, I'm going to do this. I don't care if it's rational. And that's kind of how I was with my wedding. So I'm trying not to get like that again. I was a little like, I started off rational, and by the time we were a few months out from the wedding, the budget was out the door. There was no budget. I was like, I want it. You know, I wasn't a bridezilla, but it was like, if I want this for my wedding, and I think it's going to be pretty, and it was my day, I needed it. And so, yeah, in hindsight, given that I am almost 6 years removed from the wedding, a lot of that stuff was not necessary. But you couldn't tell me that then. And I think that's what happens, you know, when you're in this stage, you may buy a lot of things for your baby that may not be necessary. And then when you look back, or you have a second baby, or you look back because you didn't use or found whatever you bought wasn't as helpful, then you can look back and say, okay, that wasn't necessary. Like this cake stand I have that I had to have for my wedding, that I had custom made. That's crystal, because I was on a crystal kick at the time, and it had to be Swarovski crystals, if I'm even saying that right. We're not plastic crystals. And a freaking cake stand made with dripping in crystals. What the heck am I doing with that now? Like, it was beautiful at the time. It was one day, at least for the baby. Hopefully you can get more than one day out of the stuff, even if it's just a couple of months. But it was one day. I had so much custom made stuff made to fit my theme, and it's in the garage. So, you know, haven't even opened it since the wedding. It was boxed up, and here we go. So I should probably sell it. Anybody looking for a crystal cake stand? My wedding dress, you know, super expensive, gorgeous. What are we gonna do with it now? So, but again, weddings are one day. Baby can hopefully get a few months out of things, but there are just some things that are not as rational. There is a stroller that I'm looking at that is called the Doona infant stroller, which is basically like a car seat that the wheels go up and down. It's actually super convenient for people, especially if you're in an urban environment. But even people who aren't in an urban environment say that it's very convenient, you know, to be able to just snap it into the car, and then they take it out of the car, and the wheels come down, and then you don't have to take the baby out of anything. It's just in and out, back, you know, boom, boom. Issue is, it runs about $4.99, roughly $500. Doesn't have any under seat storage. Everything is extra. So if you want, you have to buy a separate storage bag, which is around like $40 or so, and a special made storage bag that goes underneath it. You know, all the covers. I mean, a lot of strollers, the covers, plastic, the rain covers, and all those other things, whatever they are, the mesh covers, whatever, they are extra. And the doona is no different than that. But the thing is, what makes the doona, you know, more of a luxury purchase is that it's only for infants. So once your baby can no longer fit in the infant car seat, your baby can't use it anymore. So, I mean, it's an amazing concept, and I kind of like it because we do live in an urban environment, and I feel like it would be very convenient and useful. But my husband's is like, why spend $500 on something that we won't be able to use in, maybe 8 months? But I guess that's like an infant car seat, right? You buy an infant car seat, and your baby may grow out of it in a year or something like that. Or maybe even earlier, depending on the size of your baby. But maybe you didn't spend $500 on your infant car seat, right? So this doona baby stroller, infant stroller, is very similar. Not saying I don't want it. I still want it, even though I know that it may not be rational because I may only get like 8 months to a year out of it. I still want it. And I haven't said I'm not going to get it yet because I do think it's convenient, and you do have to pay for convenience sometimes. Not sure though, because can't buy that and a bugaboo. But maybe I won't buy the bugaboo then. Maybe I'll get that and get something cheaper for after the infant portion of it. After it doesn't work anymore because it's only an infant stroller. I'll link it just so people can see what I'm talking about. But I'm not really. I kind of want it, so, and I'm trying to make a rational reason for it. If I can rationalize it, I might get it. So, but I'm trying to, go back and forth because I don't know if it's necessary, but, it seems convenient and, easy. You got to pay for ease. So, like I said, it's easy for me to get caught up in the, I want these things or I don't want these things. So, yeah. So anyone have any thoughts? Are you doing a nursery? After I knock nurseries, I know I want to ask if people did nurseries. I think they're amazing and I think they're beautiful. So I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying they're not necessary right away. That's what I'm saying. But, are you, what are your thoughts? Are you doing a nursery? Are you just going to do an area in your room? Are you getting a crib? Are you just going to do a pack and play immediately or a bassinet? Bassinets are beautiful. Some of them are really pretty, but again, they're all, they're short term. Even the pack and play with the bassinet feature, I was looking at some of them last night, and some of them say they only go up to like 15 pounds. And so the bassinet portion of it, even though the pack and play you can use later for the toddler for like a play area, but the bassinet portion can only, some of them say only 15 pounds, and you may be able to push it. But the issue I have with pushing things that say up to a certain limit is that then you run into, if God forbid something happens to your child, you were not using it properly, which is a lot of what happened with that Fisher-Price sleeper that people, unfortunately, babies died in because they were able to roll over and sit up, and some of them suffocated themselves. And you're not supposed to use it that long. And so I think parents may have said, well, the baby still fits, I'll go ahead and put the baby in it. But, if it's recommended you don't use it beyond a certain point, you may want to really consider not using it beyond that point. So, so that's what I'm saying. Even if I do a pack and play initially for the bassinet features and some of the other features, I'm going to link the pack and play I'm thinking about getting. It has like one of those seats in it that vibrates, has a changing table aspect to it. Another thing that I hear is a waste of money is a changing table. Even though I do think a changing table that has drawers that doubles as a dresser isn't necessarily a waste of money. But just a flat out changing table could be a waste of money. People say that, you can use other surfaces like your bed, and you put the changing mat on your bed, and you can change your baby there if you don't have a changing table. So, I guess that's a personal decision, but that is another place that you might be able to cut expenses. The pack and play that I'm looking at has a changing table aspect to it, but it's like up to 30 pounds or something like that. So it's not a long-term changing table, but it says it has, it has like little features to it. It has this little bouncy chair. It has the rock and vibrating and plays music, night light, and the changing table thing, the little bassinet portion under it has some storage in it. And then I think you can take all that out later as your child is older, and it's just a playpen. You may even be able to put a mattress in it, and this you would have to look at more into, but I think you can put a mattress in, in the bottom so the baby can sleep there when it's a little older, when it's beyond the bassinet stage. But I'm not 100% sure like about that, but I think you can. But you got to be careful because babies can't have blankets. A lot of people put blankets, and you see these nurseries and they have these beautiful quilts and all that. You can't put any of that actually in the crib when the baby's in there, or in the bassinet, or whatever your baby's sleeping in, the drawer, or whatever your baby's sleeping in. You're not supposed to actually put blankets and all that in there. No stuffed animals, you know, just the baby in a good fitting sleeper, or swaddled tightly, and the mattress and some sheets. That's my understanding. Tight fitting sheets. It's not supposed to be anything else in the baby's sleeping area to avoid suffocation issues. So, but again, all these things I know based on like researching and reading, not because I've actually done it, but you know, if you read it and start looking into it yourself. I have noticed I've seen a lot of people wrapping their babies or putting blankets on top of their babies when I'm looking at things on Amazon, and I like to look at the pictures. And I do know that that is apparently dangerous because it can create suffocation. But who knows? Like, if people didn't, like, if I hadn't read it, I probably would put blankets on my baby too. So, you know, I'm assuming these people just don't know. And maybe, you know, babies don't come with instructions. They need to. And there's a lot out here online, but there's a lot of misinformation too. So it's like navigating between the information and the correct information and misinformation. And, you know, you may also get information from like your parents or grandparents, but things have changed somewhat. Not to say they're not a good resource, but that we do things a little differently, and things that your parents may have done may not be the thing. Like my mom was saying something about putting the baby on his side when it sleeps. Now, I guess that's what she did with me and my brothers, but you know, from everything I'm reading, baby's supposed to be on his back. It's like the ABCs of infant sleeping or baby sleeping or whatever. It's supposed to be, baby's supposed to be alone. B, the baby's supposed to be on his back. And C, the baby's supposed to be like in a crib or some other type of sleeper. You don't put the baby in your bed. You put it, I mean, if you do put it in your bed, it needs to have one of those things where it's kind of in case, I don't know. They have sleepers that you can sit on your bed, but I mean, I don't know if you want to do that, but the baby can't just be laying next to you on your bed. It's dangerous. They can suffocate and you can roll over on them, and, you know, inadvertently. And that has happened and babies have died that way. So, you know, so those are like the ABCs: alone, back, and crib. And so I was telling my mom that, and she was like, oh, well, you know, babies throw up, so you might want to put them on his side and stuff. I don't know. Like, these are things that we talk about, but I'm telling her what, you know, they say is the safe way. And she's saying, well, I used to do this. So there's so much information, and you can get a lot of different stories from a lot of different people, you know, and it's not always accurate. Just like the baby powder thing. For years, people put baby powders, especially on little girls, you know, and we're finding out now, not supposed to do that. It could cause cancer, you know, so in the long run, of course. But those are things people did for years, is put, you know, the baby powder and put it down in the diaper, or especially a little girl. And to me, that kind of seems a little weird anyway, because you don't want it all caked up down there. But you're not supposed to do that. So depending on what generation you're from, you may think that's okay, but it's actually not. So it's sorting through all the hype, all the misinformation, and trying to get the correct information, which is what I'm struggling with doing, trying to do that. And, you know, you're a pediatrician or your obstetrician. We don't actually have a pediatrician yet. We do need to get one. I do know soon. But when you have a pediatrician, they can hopefully help. Your obstetrician can hopefully help, you know, and friends and family are good resources. You know, doesn't mean you have to do exactly everything they say, but they are good resources. And the internet is a great resource too. It's just trying to sort through the nonsense and people trying to sell you things, because, you know, it's easy to get caught up in the pretty stuff. At least for me. I don't know. But all right, ladies. So that's my rant for today. So, excuse me. If you have any thoughts and you just want to share, I appreciate it. And I always appreciate just the opportunity to express everything that I'm thinking, because I know I kind of just use this as like a video diary. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to show you what's the best this or what's the best that. You know, I'm not trying to make you jealous. I don't want to, you know, you don't really see anything except for me. So, you know, it's really just for us to discuss and to be candid about what we're thinking or what I'm thinking. And if anyone wants to share, please do. So, you know, I'm here and I will talk to you guys soon. I have a doctor's appointment on next week. So I'll be with 26 weeks then. And I know shortly thereafter I need to get an ultrasound at 28 weeks. So I don't have that scheduled yet. So, you know, so I'll keep you posted on everything. And I think my appointment's next Tuesday, which would be the 16th. But that I'll have my glucose testing where you drink the sweet stuff and then you got to wait an hour and they check your blood sugar to see for gestational diabetes. So, I mean, so far everything has always seemed good, but I really don't know. So I'm a little nervous just because I'm nervous about taking any test. But yeah, I haven't had any blood sugar issues, but you still don't know. So I will definitely keep you posted on how that goes. All right. I will talk to you soon.